What's up again, toy car nerds? Today we're going to be showing you how to wrap the new Pro-Line F-150 for the Losi NASCARs. All of our wraps are custom designed to order, but for this one we did a little replica action. We did the Mac Tonight Bill Elliott scheme from the 90s. I think it's going to look sweet on this truck. Let's get started. Now if you're paying attention, you'll see I already fucked up. You should start with the splitter graphic. Mainly because the side graphic will overlap that a hair. So you'll want to start with the splitter. Trust me, it'll look better in the end result. This is pretty simple. It's the shape of the front of the splitter. You're just going to kind of line it up, roll it on there. All of these graphics do have a little bit of an overhang. That makes it easier to match everything up. You're not going to be shorting material and have gaps anywhere along the install. So it'll overhang a little bit. You'll want to trim that off in a minute. What I like to do is get the piece on where I want it, heat it in there. It just helps form some of those bends and curves. Some of these Pro-Line bodies do have a lot of complex curves, and that helps with the installation. You want to take a nice sharp X-Acto blade, kind of run it right along the edge of that Lexan, just kind of trim off any of that overhang, just so it doesn't stick into stuff while you're trying to do the rest of the install. And again, a sharp blade would be preferred. This thing's dull as hell and not making it very easy. We'll have to change that out here in a minute. Now we'll jump back over and start installing the sides. I'm only going to show you the left side because the left side and the right side are the same thing, just to make the video a little shorter. So first you'll notice in the bottom of the door, there's a little notch. That is actually the same, where the notch is actually the same size as the bottom of the door on the body. So use that as your reference guide to line up. That'll help you keep your graphics straight and even and best for matching up any continual designs you have across the graphic. Once you get it lined up, you want to work your way from the center out. This graphic is kind of a pain because there's so many floppy pieces. You want to lock in the door, work it from the center out, and then kind of readjust the front and back and work it from the middle out all the way across. Once you get it across, you'll realize that the side graphic actually turns into half of the back bumper graphic. The right side will be much of the same, and it'll create a continual connected piece once you have both sides on. Now the nose looks like the most daunting part of this whole project, and it really isn't. So what we do is we cut out the headlights in the template, which helps form your graphic across the nose piece. Next up, we're going to start out with the hood and A-post for this Ford F-150 Pro-Line body. This is relatively simple. If you have a graphic that has a continual design, you'll want to match up the design the best you can. Sometimes it's hard. It's going to depend on how well you lined up those sides if you do have a continual graphic. If you don't, get it as close as you want it and throw it down. As long as you got coverage, you're good to go. Once you got it where you need it, you want to work your way from the center out. Just kind of roll your finger or squeegee across. I like to use finger on these RC wraps. They're small enough and you can kind of get a feel for where some of the dimples and curves are. The beauty with these wraps is until they're locked in, they are able to be kind of peeled back up and repositioned a little within reason. Just be careful of stretching. But so far this thing is coming out awesome. Couldn't be happier with it so far. Patience is the name of the game. Take your time. The more time you put into things, the better it's going to look on the other side. Hey guys, this video is brought to you by Carpies.com, the leader in dirt oval and carpet oval race wraps. From everything from body wraps to pit boards, pit lights, mini toolboxes, custom pit shirts, we have it all. Carpies.com, check it out. All right, next up we're going to jump over to the roof. This is one of the simplest pieces next to the bed itself. A relatively flat area. You're just going to line that up. Remember that this does have a little overhang, so it will go over the front body line where the visor is. It'll also roll over the back a little bit. all of that can be trimmed if you don't need it, but it's there in case you do need it. So if you're off a little bit on your sides or your hood, and you get off a little bit at the beginning, it could affect your whole thing by the end. So you'll see this is pretty easy to peel up if you don't get it where you want it. So you can kind of move it around a few times, and that's common. It's going to be almost impossible just to eyeball it and get exactly where you want it for a shot. So take your time, make sure you get it how you were going to want it, because once it's locked in, that baby's not coming up without a ton of stretching, and by then you're pretty much screwed. So I forgot to start recording for the bed. The bed is the simplest part. Again, you line it up, it's a flat graphic. Work your way from the middle out. Again, each panel piece does have an overhang. So in this instance, it did cover up a little bit of the side graphic. You'll be able to see the two pieces come together in the vinyl. So if you take a nice sharp blade, you can trim that edge and just peel off the overhang that is covering your logo, and it'll have a nice finished edge to it. Now we're almost getting to the end, I swear. So now you're doing the back bumper. Again, a nice flat piece. You're going to line it up, and again, it does have a little overhang, which can be a little bit of a pain where the bumper recesses, but you generally just want to make sure you're lining it up with the headlights, so that way you got even coverage from left to right, so when you apply your headlight decals and tail light decals, you don't end up having any clear areas. Now to finish up the back bumper area, there's a little inlay piece, so if you have any clear still showing, you can lay this in here. It's cut to fit, same as all the rest of the panels, just kind of put it in, kind of guide it across the whole panel, and boom, good to go. Now for the final touch, yeah, the Craftsman window visor across the front. Again, you'll have a little overhang. You can trim if you need, but you'll see as you're putting it on, the overhang is your friend. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and check out carpies.com for your custom RC wraps.